Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to What Has Happened to Real Estate in the Pandemic. And we're going to start with something a little bit fun today. Yes, I'm going to show a little TikTok video just to give you a sense of what's happening in the overall market. So I'm stealing this from Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a news feed I listen to. And here's a little thing about what's happened to the price of food. It should look familiar. Here
Hi, excuse me, I've been shopping here and I've just been seeing some really high prices. Yeah, prices are really high, so we've had to make a lot of changes around here. Like what? Well, don't tell anyone, but we're low on soybeans. Ah, darn. Well, do you have any seafood? Totally. Great. If you can catch it, huh? It costs more for us to buy fish than to have the customers actually catch it themselves. So now our seafood section is just us driving you to the ocean with a spear. Never mind. How about like a block of cheddar cheese? Sure thing. And how many children will you trade for? Okay, can I just get like chicken? Sure, except we don't have chicken anymore. It's just pigeon wrapped in Spam. But if you need any dessert, we have an auction going on for our last muffin. We have 1,000 gold for the maple glazed muffin. We have 2,000 gold for the maple glazed muffin, courtesy of the man with the white hair on the back. Okay, no, look. What if I just read you items off of my shopping list and you tell me if the price is too high? Sure. Yes. What? All of it? Well, the price of butter is still the same. Sure, I'll do that. Here. Thank you. And here's a tip. Oh my God, is this a penny? Yeah. With copper prices what they are now. No, not the calculator. This donation just made you our new CEO. What is happening? Please, boss, what do we do about these prices? We have hysterical customers. Hi, excuse me, I've been shopping here and I've just been...
All righty. And that is the hysterical nature of exactly what we're seeing in our real estate market. Prices are going up everywhere, despite the Fed's protestations that we are not in an inflationary period. Just look around at what's happening to, well, everything. So I'd like to give you a little sense of what's going on with the housing market in particular. There's a gentleman named Steve Murray. He founded Real Trends. He's been studying real estate for 40 years, and he's looking at the bellwether of what's normal. So I think you might have heard the stat that about 5% of people move every year. Well, the fact is it's 4.8%. Over that 40-year average, or since 1980, 4.8% of people pick up and move to another household. Well, I think we need to really look at things in context. Some of you may remember what was happening in 2002, 3, 4, 5, when everyone you knew got into the market and decided to flip a house. I mean, I got into a taxi cab once, and my taxi cab driver had decided that you could make so much money in real estate. He was flipping houses. And what happened is they let all these investors in who weren't end owners. And of course, they weren't making sure you could pay back the mortgage. And as a result, you had a lot of people with very high mortgages who didn't have any money in the houses. And then we had the economic collapse, Bear Stearns, the stock market. You remember what happened in Detroit to the auto industry. And of course, housing collapsed, which made everyone short or their houses worth less than they were worth. At that time, what caused it was really lending money to people who couldn't pay back their mortgage, but also all these investors in the market. And we were running at that time, 6.8%. In other words, a really out of balance market is when 6.8% of households are moving. So when we look back between 2010 and 2010 to 2020, we were running a little bit low. So those of you who got into the business or have bought since then, there hasn't even been the demand or moving that we used to see. And that was because in a lot of ways, we were only selling about 4.4 or 4.5% of households moving. That was the era when we said everyone's children aren't getting out and buying a condo. They're still in the basement. So that was the social phenomenon. When we look back at 2020, overall, about 5% of people moved. But here's the thing. Remember, nobody was moving in March, April, May, and even June. But in the last 3 quarters, it was up to 6.5%. That's another out of whack market. And that has continued through the beginning of 2021. Demand is far outstripping supply. We have not been building enough houses to catch up on household formations. What is a household formation? Well, that's when two people, when you leave your parents' house and you buy your first condo, you're creating another household. Or You know, when two people get married and they buy another house, that's creating another household. And household formations are up, but the housing starts, the number of new houses being built hasn't begun to keep up with household formations for a long time, which is creating this dearth of inventory, not enough houses. So what happens? Basic macro 101, if you don't have enough property and you have a lot of demand for houses, it automatically starts to go up. And that's what we've been seeing since 2012. Our prices steadily rising throughout really New England, but mostly, you know, Boston area, all the way north into the Cape, Western Mass, Southern New Hampshire. We have seen prices rising. But then something new happened in the pandemic. Everybody was sitting at home in their house, evaluating their house. And when they were doing that, they were saying, do I have the home office I want? Do I have the view that I want? You know, does this house really work for kids who are homeschooling? What is the future? And thinking about, do I belong here? And now that I'm allowed to work remotely, I can live somewhere else. People who were living in Greater Boston are living in Lunenburg and Pepperell and you know, Southern New Hampshire. They're moving to farmland or anything that has a view. Prices near water, any water, a river, a lake, an ocean have skyrocketed. We are looking at water going up 30% year over year. More on that later. On top of everything else, why are housing costs rising? Well, construction costs. You've heard, you know, the demand. Everyone was home thinking, I think I'll have a new kitchen. I'll redo my bathroom. You know, this is the time to put the deck on. I'm not spending the money on restaurants. I can repurpose my funds into creating the house I want. So the demand on lumber from homeowners, plus every restaurant was like, I need to build an outdoor patio. I'm going to do those little, you know, caves or tents and build little huts for dining. So the demand on wood went crazy. We've all heard about lumber prices. You know, it used to be 1,000 square feet of lumber, 2x4s, $400. It's now $1,100. At one point, it was up 168%. I mean, that is crazy, crazy increases in supply. You know, right now, you could be, you know, SOL on your dishwasher breaks or your refrigerator breaks. Don't expect to get the one you want or anything close. We're looking at people buying used appliances and just if something breaks because they can't get what they want for a long, long time. So all these things have really affected the housing market. We've got increased demand, a shortage of houses that was happening anyway, plus everyone sitting at home going, I think I want to be someplace else. So what exactly has happened? You know, and we're talking about inflation. Do remember that it was housing that brought the economy down, and it's housing that's bringing the economy up. Every time a new house is purchased, 64 jobs are touched. And that's between the processors and the loan officers and the insurance people and the people at the paint store and the hardware store, all the electricians, the vendors, all the trades people. It really goes up, the home inspectors. These things are happening rapidly and it affects the economy. Anyone notice the stock market going up? Well, we're going to talk about that right now. And I think I accidentally put my slides down. Sorry about that. Here we go. All righty. So here we go. What's going on? Well, I can tell you now, the pandemic effect, those of you who've been paying attention, we have been going up with the stock market. When the stock market goes up, housing goes up, just like it collapsed in 2006, 7, 8, it kept going down. We were starting to go down because of lending right before the stock market collapsed. But prices pretty much are in line for housing. They go up with the stock market and down. The other thing that's happened with demand is how many baby boomers looked at their stock portfolio and said, I think I'll retire early. Honey, we've always wanted to live here. Let's go buy a house there. And everyone else was thinking it. So they drove demand in certain areas. Again, more on that. So let's look very specifically at what happened to prices. And usually we would give you a year over year price, but let's face it, last May was not really indicative of a normal market. So what we want to do is really go back 2 years. What's happened to prices over the last 2 years? So I am going to give you, just so that you can see, prices for each county at first for 2019, 2020, and 2021. And then what was the 2-year increase? Well, in Barnstable County, which is the Cape, you're looking at prices up 28%. And that's all over the Cape, not just the water. That's an incredible jump. In Dukes County, this is the, knock your socks off number. Well, Dukes County is Martha's Vineyard. Prices up 71% over the last 2 years. But the big jump, of course, was in the pandemic. Essex County, it's a rock fight for property there too, and they're not used to that. They used to have inventory. They heard about what was happening in Greater Boston, but they said, come here, you can pick a house there. You can see other houses, certainly houses in the last few years that are priced well, had multiple offers, but they're living with no inventory either. Middlesex County. Now, Middlesex County, it's not that it's less desirable, it is closer to the city, but we had already been accelerating and appreciating at such a high rate, we didn't jump as high. Norfolk County, that would be Brookline, Newton, Wayland are out in Norfolk County. That's 22.7%. No, Wayland might be Middlesex. Suffolk County. Now, this is interesting. This is in Boston. Remember that San Francisco, that New York, prices were plummeting in some neighborhoods, 20 to 30%. We're sitting in a place where people wanted to stay. Think about Boston's desirability because you're still so close to be able to drive to New Hampshire, Maine, the Cape. You don't have to get in a plane or a long 6 or 7 hour haul to be in a totally different part of New England with a different experience. So Boston did okay. Worcester County. We have agents out in the Worcester area who said to me last week, that disease you've been suffering from out in the Boston area has come to Worcester County, and now buyers can't buy, with multiple offers, they're losing out, up 20.7%. And just for Southern New Hampshire, Rockingham, that's Salem, Wyndham, etc., up 21%. And Hillsborough, that's Manchester area, at 21.7%. So prices have gone up everywhere. And just very specifically, these are the leading edge towns. I won't read them all out loud, but you can see what's happened in Andover, in Arlington, in Belmont, Cambridge. We just have a new affiliate down in Dennis, Lexington, Melrose, Reading, Wakefield. Interesting that Winchester didn't see the big push. You're looking at Belmont, which went up significantly at about the same price point. But Winchester kind of held a little bit more steady. That's normal appreciation. And then New Hampshire, up 14% in Salem, 8.8% in Wyndham. Okay, that's the single family thing. Let's look at condos. Well, we saw the same kind of crazy appreciation, not quite as high as the single families, but still very strong. Belmont, Cambridge. Cambridge just inched up from 2019, but look, it went down. Cambridge was a ghost town last year. So it recovered. Dennis up 22% for condos. Lexington up 21%. Melrose 16, 27 in Reading, 6% in Wakefield, 25% in Winchester. That could be a new development. Sometimes that just changes prices to, in a huge amount. Salem 5.3% and Wyndham. All right. Boston condo prices. How about the city? How did the city do? No one's in the city anymore. Well, I think it's interesting that Back Bay only took a tiny haircut of 0.1%. That's insignificant. Prices are pretty stable. They certainly got up in 2020. They're not up. They haven't recovered to their 2020 prices, but they're really where they were in 2019. Again, think about New York and San Francisco. Beacon Hill is up. I think on the hill, you've got a lot of rooftops and a little bit more gardens, especially in the flats. Charlestown up 8.2%, Dorchester 5.8%, Roxbury up 20.6%, and the South End is the only one that really took a hit. They're down 7.5%. So I would love after this to open it up to anyone who would like to speak. It turns out that you can participate, and we'd love to hear from you. I just want to let everyone here know that Leading Edge has a new service. It's called our Go service. It is there for our clients to be able to prepare their home for market. And what's great about it is that we will help find the right vendors. You're not obligated to do anything to your house to sell it, but if you decide to make that investment, we will guide you. Sometimes, our benchmark is that anything you should put into your house, you should get at least 3 to 5 times more back. In other words, if you put $25,000 in, your return should be 75 to 125 extra in your pocket, minus the cost, of course, of what you've spent. So moving is hard. We make it simple. On Go services, we have a wonderful curated team that takes care of everything so you can get going. And the beautiful thing is all of the costs can be paid out of closing. So you can bank that money, and then at closing, we will pay all the vendors or reimburse ourselves. Go now, sell later. For a lot of people in this market, it's really important to be able to buy first. If you sell, you don't want to be left homeless. We have great financing options to help you move to where you want to go so that you can secure yourself in a house. And then let us take care of anything that needs to happen to your house so that you can maximize your sale and leverage your equity and walk away with the biggest proceeds. And of course, never ever fall prey to those real estate companies that promise you cash, quick and easy closing, super convenient. You don't have to do a thing. You don't even have to move your stuff out. We'll get rid of it. It sounds great, but those companies are going to do what we recommend. They're going to buy your house at a huge discount, often 30+%. And then they're going to fix it up like we would recommend and make a lot of money that should be in your pocket. So here's our little real estate commercial we'd love to share.
You want to sell your home and maybe buy another. So what's stopping you? Too busy to get it ready? Who isn't? Maybe it needs some work. Maybe a lot of work. Who has time or money for that? But you can't buy something else until you sell. What to do? Tap into Go Service from your Leading Edge real estate agent. Go Service will take care of all the hassles of selling for you so you can get going. We provide cleaning, junk removal, painting, kitchen and bath updates, repairs, landscaping, professional staging, even pack and move services. You pay nothing until you close on your sale. Think you can't buy a house without selling yours first? With Go Service, you can. We have financing options that will make you an attractive buyer. Buy the house you want, then we take complete care of selling your home. Sell then buy, or buy then sell. Either way, Go Service can simplify your move. Learn more from your Leading Edge real estate agent today, or visit leadingedgeagents.com.
I want to thank everyone that has participated in these seminars. It's been really an honor to have you. But if anyone would like to talk, I'm going to open it up to anyone to participate. I think it would be lovely if you would share your thoughts on this. I haven't had a chance to read. I see that Jessica put something in. In this market, what approach would you have to a homeowner that may have a large amount of equity in their home to make a great profit and purchase or build keeping their mortgage prices in the same ballpark or lower than they currently have? Would you have a mortgage-free retirement plan approach utilizing the biggest asset? Oh, Jessica, what you're getting into is financial planning. We are glad to work with any financial planner. I think every single agent in our company might answer that a little bit differently. I do think that a lot of people are trying to cash out now. I've seen people thinking this is just about the top of the market. It's never so easy, but then you do need a place to go. Jessica, do you maybe want to add anything?
No, I'm sorry. That was great. I come from with the insurance background. I've always had that talk with them. So it definitely pops up in my mind. Do you ever see yourself talking about that or not? But you just answered it. Thank you so much.
I think we always want to stay in our lane.
Yeah.
You know, being a financial advisor could get us in trouble. You know, you never want to represent, you know, what's going to happen in the market, or that this really is the time. You don't know. We've been told for 10 years that real estate, you know, interest rates are going up, that it can't get any higher than this. So we have to be really careful about that. Who else might have something to say? I would love your participation. Don't rush to the mic. Nothing else? Well, if that's it, again, totally honored that you joined us to find out what was going on kind of the economy and how it affects prices in our real estate market. And with that, if you need any help at all from a leading edge agent, we have the best in the business. You can't go wrong. Courtney, did you want to say something?
I did not. I don't know what's going on with my system. It's kind of flopping around from me to somebody else. So I do not have a question at this time. No.
All right, Courtney. Well, with that, everyone have a delightful day. Enjoy the beauty of this gorgeous May day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Linda.
Bye.